Hi, I'm Dave, welcome to the channel. Today I've got my first NSR slot car. It's a Fiat 500. So here we are, the NSR Fiat 500. They have made sure everybody knows it's made by NSR by putting stickers all over the box, and 100% made in Italy. It's a very nicely detailed model. You can see there's that double cross roll cage inside there and those twin rear tailpipes. And of course all the Abarth branding, because it's an officially licensed product, on the back. So, this model has been finished manually. The imperfections are not defects, but witness to a handmade job. So, there might be a few defects. That's what they're saying, really. So, the Abarth 500 Assetto Corsa, Castrol Special Edition. I kind of liked it because it was very Italian in the fact that it's green, red and white. I mean, I know it's Castrol livery, but, you know. So yes, very detailed. Tow eye on the front and the Abarth badge on the front grille. The lights are quite good, given that it's probably quite a difficult shape to make and get right. And of course at the back the tailpipes and the diffuser, Abarth badge again, and the 500 on the boot lid. And of course the scorpions everywhere. It really is a great car, great livery, with the Castrol green as well. Now I thought, it's a bit of a big car, so I put it next to my 911 Revoslot, and it turns out Fiat 500 is a really big car, and it looks big from the back. And it turns out it's really big from the back as well. They're not a little car. So a few things to note on here. This is a sidewinder. I think it's probably the first sidewinder. Most of my cars are angle winders. It has a motor pod that floats on those 3 screws. These 2 screws at the front and this little tab at the back are what holds the shell onto the chassis. So I only actually have to undo these 2 screws. So much of what you'd expect inside, really. The motor pod has quite a lot of float on those 3 floating points, which you can adjust with the screws. But I think I'll probably leave it the way it is for the moment. The front tyres are supposed to be zero grit, hard, shiny things, and they are hard and shiny. Not so sure about that guide. I think, because there's no real adjustment on the chassis for the front axle, you're supposed to shim out the guide, but they don't give you any shims. Some manufacturers give you spares and things, but NSR do not. One thing of note, on one of these front tyres there is a massive piece of flashing from the moulding, which I'm going to have to probably cut off. I don't think sanding is going to do the job there. There's also another big bit of flashing that hasn't been removed from the chassis, which is annoyingly right where we want to start putting things like sensors for digital chips. So I shall chop that out of there because it's just going to get in the way, and it shouldn't be there anyway. And just pop the magnet out as well. And it's only a tiny magnet, but it does look like it would probably, affect shipping or something. It's a massively strong magnet. NSR thankfully use the push-in connectors for their braids, not the stupid little grub screws like SlotR do. So we need to be putting a hole in just kind of around there somewhere. But before we do that, something I noticed. Now, you should always open slot cars before you run them, but look at that. All of those little bits of fallen off copper braid, all just over the inside of the chassis. You really don't want any of those getting in a motor, so if you get an NSR, make sure you take everything out and check there's no little bits like that. That could really ruin your day. So I'm going to fit an FT-Slottechnik chip. In this case it's a 1044, which is a slightly higher voltage chip, which I think you can use for 124 cars. But it works at normal voltages for the 132s, and I had to get one because the other chip wasn't in stock for a while. Anyway, here it is fitted. Nice and straightforward. It fits really nicely on that motor pod. Note the piece of blue tack. Those mounts for the magnets are quite useful for that. So, yeah, purple to the back, grey to the front on the motor. And as always, red to the left, black to the right on the guide. Still not sure about that guide. So let's put it back together and try it. So I sanded the tyres a little bit and then just stuck it on the track and tried to drive it. Tentatively at first. I mean, it's quite quiet and it's quite smooth. But I wasn't really pushing it. And then I started to push it a bit more. And then something peculiar happened. What's that all about then? It just de-slotted after a corner. There it is from the other angle. There it is slower. And here it is very slow. The car has made it round the corner. It's because there's a slight incline. It de-slots there. It's made the corner. It fails to make the drop in incline. It just jumped straight out of the slot. I was suspicious of this guide. Why am I making a big thing about this? Well, no car's ever done that before on this track. And then it did it again. And again. And again. I managed to get a 6.433 second lap out of this car, which is disappointing because I think a good car, and this is supposed to be one, should go around this track in under 6 seconds. So I had a closer look at it, and as you can see, this tyre is kind of worn fairly evenly. That's okay. A few scuffs on it, but to be expected. This tyre, however, looks alright there. You know, it's pretty good. And there's a massive hole in it. Now, I think what's happened is there's a void in the rubber, like a bubble, when they cast the tyres. And after a couple of laps, the little thin layer of rubber that was over the top of it wore off. So I actually managed to have a blowout in a slot car. So the guide we know is not good. So I put a Slotting Plus guide in, and as I was doing that, the NSR braids completely fell apart. So as a quick fix, I just chopped up some Carrera braids and shoved them in. And to replace the rear tyres, because I just wanted to keep putting some laps on this car, I found the next nearest thing. Now they're a bit big, but they are a slotted tyre, and they come off of my sideways Zach Speed Escort. So, slightly imperfect, tyres slightly rubbing, but nonetheless better. And I managed to go from a 6443 to a 6085. Still a little disappointing, but much, much better, obviously. So next day, Pendle Slot Racing to the rescue. Some brand new proper NSR tyres so the tyres don't rub, and some nice new Scale Auto braid to put in. So after much fiddling, back to the track, and this time what a better car, with good quality version of the right rubber and a decent guide in it. It's become a lot of fun to drive. And how's that for sticking in a slot? Oops. So we went from 6.085 to 5.641. This puts this car in amongst the small Revoslots, nowhere near the Revoslot 911, which is at 5.3 seconds, but nonetheless this car is good and in with all the others. Should you get one? No. You should probably get 2 or 4 if you've got a digital track. You should race them against each other. This should be a class of racing on your track. These cars are a real laugh, and I guess the kids will probably like them as well, because they're cars that the kids see on the roads. So I think it's a winner all round for everybody. Thanks for watching one of my videos again. Please like it if you did. Hit the subscribe button, that helps the channel, and if you hit the bell you will get notifications when I post new videos. And check out this channel, Ken Schmud. His videos are in German, but if you speak English, the closed caption subtitles work out okay. You can understand what's going on. He modifies Carrera Digital track, and every single video he does is amazing.